Hi guys, and welcome back to Bikes and Laces, where today I'm going to share a video with you about a chat that I had with the wonderful Ree from Fluid Fox Yoga. So this is a live stream I did back during lockdown, and Ree and I had a bit of a chat on our yoga mats. So I asked her a couple of questions about yoga, and she even showed me a couple of moves. So do go and check the video out, and yeah, near the end there is me attempting yoga. First though, if you are brand new to the channel, then do consider giving this video a like and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps us out. You can also hit the bell notification to be kept up to date with all the videos we post every week. We aim to provide 3 brand new videos a week, one of which we have as a live stream, so you can join us most if not all Mondays for a live stream with Chris, and you can check out our other videos throughout the rest of the week.
Brilliant.
First of all, I'm just going to give you a chance to speak a little bit about who you are for anyone who joins from my side. Yeah, so they can find out a bit more about you.
Okay. Right. Well, I'm Ree, and I run Fluid Fox Yoga, and that's just my business name for yoga classes that I run around the Cotswolds. But obviously, considering we're in self-isolation at the moment, I'm doing all my classes online. And I have a schedule of all my classes over on my page, Fluid Fox Yoga. And I do various different types of yoga, but predominantly vinyasa and yin. Vinyasa is a challenging practice that generates a lot of heat in the body. It's great for building up strength and flexibility. Whereas yin yoga is much more focused on deeper tissue beyond the muscle and holding poses very close to the ground for 3 to 5 minutes at a time. So it's different to restorative. It works into the joints and the tissues and fibre around the body. Sorry if my bunnies run through at any point, but they might do. But yeah, so there's a big difference between the two, and they're really complementary. So you need your physical cardio exercise for heart, but also for just general health and fitness. And then you need the yin, the kind of more restorative, relaxing type of stretching to just restore and lengthen the fibers that kind of get lost a little bit when we're running around and cycling, and we don't work on those at all. So yin is brilliant for cyclists, definitely, because you're forced to sit in the stretch. Sometimes we stretch for a few seconds at a time, so when you're actually forced to stay in the stretch and actually learn to slow down your breath, which is great for your lung capacity on the bike, what it's doing is it's expanding the tissues around the joints and the fibers, and anything we obviously stretch. The body is really quick at we're so lucky with our bodies are so clever. They repair anything that we stretch, and they make it stronger. So actually, if you stretch and lengthen your tissue, not just your muscle, you're actually making yourself overall very strong. But in the same sense, you're learning how to breathe properly as well.
Oh, okay. So they're 2 really interesting things that I've learned about yoga. As I say, I don't do yoga very much. The last time I did it was probably going back a couple of years. And for me, it was just more kind of a way to wind down mentally. I've always used it as, rather than actually kind of doing anything physically. So you've talked about a couple of the benefits the yoga can have. Are there any other benefits that yoga can kind of give you from doing yoga sessions over or throughout the week?
Yes, there's loads. How long have you got? So obviously there's the physical benefits which complement anybody who's super active. It's even just doing a vinyasa yoga class, which is a flow class, so you're fluidly moving through postures, and different postures, different asanas. So you're stretching both the upper body, lower body, and holding things, so you're actually working the muscles. All of that obviously is complementing any other physical exercise that you're doing. But also it's really restorative for your mind. It enables you to almost, it's kind of quite therapeutic and meditative in the sense that you're moving from posture to posture. It's not repetitive like a run would be. So you're always having to think, you're always having to engage mentally and stay focused. So that's actually really good because it helps you switch off from all the other chaos that's going around you, switch off from your working life, home life, and it enables you to really focus on yourself for an hour, which is obviously fantastic for your own mental health.
Oh, definitely.
And obviously, when you focus on your mental health, that helps reduce stress, anxiety, and all these other things. I mean, I work with a young girl who suffers from anxiety, and for her, learning how to breathe. I mean, it sounds really obvious and strange, but learning how to breathe, learning to use the exhale to relax the body, to tap into the parasympathetic nervous system, to actually train the mind to calm down, is an amazing skill to have.
Okay, so on the subject of questions, my first one for you is, other than what you've already said about some of the benefits for a cyclist, are there any other benefits that yoga could offer for runners or cyclists to obviously complement their training?
Yes, so there's obviously the physical benefits, the breathing benefits, so learning how to breathe. You need to learn how to breathe, I assume, in your running and your cycling, so you're more efficient on the bike. Obviously, lengthening and protecting your muscles from injury is really important, so you don't have to worry about, so you can go long term and you're not having to worry about physio. So learning how to look after your body on and off the bike or in and out of running is really, really important. And obviously just mentally, just changing your practice, changing your exercise regime is a really healthy thing to do. We should all really have lots of different styles of exercise, and we're quite habitual creatures, and we like to just do what we know best or what we enjoy best, but actually just sort of thinking outside the box, trying new things is a really good thing to do, and mixing it up for the body means that you're only going to get fitter and stronger in possibly areas that you've never worked before.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, what about frequency? How often would you say is maybe ideal a time to do yoga? Is there a set number, or would it depend on your training?
I think you could do it daily. You could do it for a short time, like you could do a 10-minute session every morning. You could do a 10-minute cool down after your ride. You could extend that to 3 times a week for an hour. You could, I mean, the point is, if you just add it into your lifestyle, doesn't matter. Oh, somebody beeping over there. If you add it into your lifestyle, it just becomes part of your routine. And then you'll notice it won't be a chore. You don't want it to become a chore. So I say do it gradually. Introduce elements of yoga stretching into maybe your cool down or your morning wake up stretch. I think we can learn from the animals. You just have to look at a dog to notice what it does in the morning. It stretches out, and and cats are the same. You just have to look at the wildlife around us to know that actually we would benefit if we got up and stretched, or before we go to bed have a good stretch. You'll have a better day and you'll sleep better too. So I would just start with small doses and then build up from there.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so we've had a question pop up in the chat from Matt. Thank you, Matt. Really good question. What would you say is the biggest misconception about yoga?
Biggest misconceptions is you need to be flexible to do yoga. You don't absolutely have to have any flexibility whatsoever. I have ladies in their late 60s doing yoga with me who have literally just started, through to 11, 12-year-old kids who just need to learn how to hone in on all that energy that they've got. So you do not need flexibility at all. And I think the other thing that gets a bit confusing for people is there are lots of different types of yoga out there at the moment, and
Yes,
they're all cool. Yeah, there's such a variety. So it's worth doing a bit of research into the type of yoga that you might like to try. And I'm not going to sway people one way or the other, because I think it's worth trying all the different styles, and you'll learn something from any class, any teacher you go to. The styles I teach are quite a dynamic, strong, flow, which is called vinyasa. And that's really good at getting you nice and hot and sweaty, challenging the body, putting the body into different postures and asanas and shapes. And then you relax at the end with in Shavasana. So you end up lying on the mat at the end of the class and just chilling out for a few minutes. I also teach yin, which is what I mentioned earlier, which is all about stretching the deeper tissue, the fascia, which is beyond the muscles, and holding those poses for a long time. So that's a challenging class. It doesn't sound it when you're lying on the floor holding stretches, but actually it really is, because you're holding them for 5 minutes at a time, and it's quite deep. So, but there are lots of different styles out there, and I think it's worth trying all of them, really, and not being afraid. And actually the classes that are being offered at the moment online are a perfect opportunity for people who've never done yoga to give it a go, because you're in the comfort of your own home. So you don't need to worry. I mean, the teachers don't judge. I mean, they're there to teach everybody, so they're not going to focus specifically on you. So if you fall out or you wobble or you can't do something, it doesn't really matter, because you're online, you're in the comfort of your own home, you're giving it a go, and that's the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's me down to a T with yoga. I tend to fall over and wobble quite a bit, so still trying to find that balance on my legs. So lovely little comment here from Matt. I'm forever trying to educate people that the goal of yoga is not always to become more flexible. It's about moving more freely, not just being able to touch your toes. So yeah, I mean, my first thought when I thought of yoga has always been, oh, I need to be flexible, and I am not particularly flexible. So there's another one. Cosmic Yoga for Kids is great. Love the Frozen episode, probably more than the kids. Yeah, Cosmic Yoga is one I've come across. It's aimed specifically at younger children, so I think they're like 2 to 3 year olds. But yeah, the first thing I think of for yoga is being flexible. But I think it is, especially as you say, it's more about kind of working those muscles and using the movements and, you know, kind of getting your heart rate up and really working towards whatever you, rather than just being flexible. So yeah, it's been quite
it's to complement as well. So it's to lengthen, it's to open, it's to expand, it's to create space in the body. And I know you're going to come on to cycling at some point, but when you think of your posture on a bike, and say you're on average cycling when you go out for a ride, how long do you go out for a ride for
well, it's my husband that goes out and does riding. He can be out anything from a short hour ride up to maybe 3-4 hours, depending on whether he's
racing. An hour is short, so that would be a short ride, 1 hour in predominantly the same posture.
Yeah, pretty much.
And when we come on to talking about postures and complementary yoga exercises to help cyclists, when you think about the posture, it's quite typically shoulders are rounded, arms are reaching forwards, the spine is being rounded, especially up in the thoracic area. You potentially are putting some pressure on your lower back and the lumbar spine, depending on your mobility there. And your hip flexors are getting compressed. So they're not actually, apart from pushing the bike pedals up and down, your hip flexors are just going to shorten and shorten and shorten.
Yeah.
So there's no opening, there's no flexion there at all through the hip flexor. Glutes hardly being activated. Yeah, you need strong glutes, but hardly being activated. It's all in the push and pull here. So you can't really, and the hamstrings have to be nice and strong, but they're hardly getting any kind of stretch in that position. And then there are other things like your Achilles, your feet position, your toes after a couple of hours in the same position, not able to expand and stretch your toes. Your feet can get quite cramped, I'm imagining.
So I'm going to go on to my last question,
Yes,
which
of course.
is, do you have any go-to moves that you could suggest for runners and cyclists to use throughout the week? So just some maybe simple yoga moves that they could use that could start and complement their training until they maybe research a bit more into.
Yes. I'm going to start with a slightly more challenging move.
Okay, I am on the mat. I will join you. We'll see.
I'm just going to
see how this goes.
Adjust my, hopefully you can see my mat now, yeah?
Yes.
Perfect. So I'm going to come down to my mat and I'm going to teach you a one-sided frog. And just to explain why I'm doing this pose before I go into it, it's a quad stretch, but it's also a shoulder opening stretch as well. So cyclist position like this, what we're going to do is we're going to open up the shoulder and we're going to stretch the quad, so it's almost the reverse of a bike posture, which is
amazing. Just a quick hello to Tim Fisher.
We're going to lie down on our mats on our tummy.
Okay, we'll see how this goes.
Bring the elbows in under your shoulders. So this is like a cobra posture here. And to make sure your elbows are under your shoulders, use your hands to grab hold of your elbows. And that tells you they're in the right place. And then spread your hands back down on the mat in front of you. The left hand is going to move diagonally across in front of you to support your chest. You can press into that left elbow and hopefully the right arm can come off. You're going to reach back for your right foot. So taking the weight into that left elbow, lifting the chest, gaze forwards, holding onto that right foot. Now, if you're not feeling a quad stretch, draw that foot towards your glute. And if you can, I mean, you might not be able to. Can you feel that now?
Yes, I can now.
And then if you want to, you rotate the palm of your hand over your toes for an opening through the shoulder and a deeper quad stretch here. Gazing forwards. And you'd stay here for about 5 deep breaths. Relaxing into it. Keep lifting through that left shoulder.
Just a little shout out. Hello to Yoga with Sarah in Oxfordshire.
Hi, Sarah.
I was going to say, obviously, one of your friends.
This morning.
Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that and my attempt at some of the yoga moves. I still haven't done much yoga, but it is a little bit more of my recovery at the moment. So if you enjoyed that, do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and why not drop us a comment below and let us know what you thought.